Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bravo Tea with the Stay-at-Home Mom. I'm Erica, and I'm ready to talk all things Bravo. Welcome back, everybody, and on this episode, we're going to be spilling all the Bravo tea and getting into some Bravo gossip. I feel like I am talking about less because I'm recapping less shows. I only got my girls from Jersey on right now. We're going to get the Real Housewives of Orange County on soon. I believe that's July 11th it premieres. And I'm going to be bringing on the official Bravo mom who lives out in Orange County to recap the first episode with me. I'm so excited. But until then, let's just get into some gossip. So we got Tom Girardi set for trial in early August. So his public defender is really trying to go after the bookkeeper, and their little plot and scheme is to say that he was cooking the books and he was benefiting from it and skimming kind of from the money. Well, obviously that is not the case. And at this point, he needs to give it up. I mean, the jury was already no, you are stand to fit trial. We don't buy your little dementia act that I'm wearing 2 sizes too big for me suit with your bedroom slippers. No, because you were totally fine. And then he went to that. The progression wasn't normal. He is 85. So we could all be oh, well, he probably is losing it a little bit, or maybe he is getting dementia. But he went from 100 to 0. There was no in between. So even when they, tested him, his cognitive, all that, to see if he was set for trial, the judge and the jury decided that he is. So that will be happening in early August. I just truly still don't believe that Erica knew what was going on. I know some people are oh my God, of course she knew. She just didn't care because she wanted that lifestyle. But I truly believe that their marriage was I'm the arm candy. I won't ask you questions of what's going on. Even if she did ask questions, do you think he's really going to come home and tell her? He'd probably say, it's none of your business. I make the money. You just spend it. And we know that she really liked that lavish lifestyle. It's expensive to be made. So I don't even think that it's weird because he was wealthy. So it's not like they were poor living in a trailer park and then the next day they're on a private jet where you would have to question and be yeah, where'd all this money come from? So I don't know. I will be excited. Maybe we'll do some special episodes when the trial is happening. So I'm interested in that outcome. I feel I don't care even if you did have dementia, you did wrong when you were of sound mind and you need to pay the price for it. Because after watching that Hulu documentary, seeing all those victims and all the families, it's not right. So I don't care. There is senile jails, I'm sure. I remember on The Sopranos, love The Sopranos, probably have watched it 30 times. The uncle, when he started to lose it, Uncle June, he went to a dementia nursing home kind of jail. So, and then he was trying to run poker games for candy, illegal candy. And one of the nurses would watch over it and he'd give him money. Oh my God, it was literally so funny. That's a good one that if anyone is stuck in the house and doesn't know what to watch, or this lull that we're having in the Bravo universe, I feel with shows, give The Sopranos a whirl if you've never watched it. I don't care how old it is. The first episode aired in 1999. I could watch that over and over again every single year. And like I said, I've probably watched it 30 times. Love it. And then when I met my husband, we watched it a bunch together, all the reruns. We just love it. That never gets old. That is number 1 scripted series for us in this household. But then we have an exciting special that's going to air June 30th. Watch What Happens Live, 15th anniversary episodes. There are going to be some Bravo celebrities on there, and Jeff Lewis. Love me some Jeff Lewis. So he's always funny. When he was on Watch What Happens Live, what was it, last week? He was so funny. And I love listening to his Sirius radio show. But Teresa is going to be on there, and she doesn't have another castmate with her like some of the other people do. She has Melania. So that's interesting. Melania was on from the beginning and was always funny. I'm kind of surprised it's not Gia because they really show her a lot in the show and she gets in it. And just to be honest, I'm surprised it's not another castmate. But this leads me to believe, doubling down on what I said on my Real Housewives of New Jersey recap, If you guys have not listened to that, catch up on that. I think that Jennifer Aiden has been fired, like not asked back, because she never ever posts. And her and Teresa are BFF, so wouldn't you have her maybe come with Jennifer? I mean, I know the 15th anniversary special should be for more people that have been on the shows for a long time, and Jennifer has not been on nearly as long as other people, but her and Melissa don't get along. Like in another universe, if she talked to Melissa, they would be a good pair to have on because she's been on since season 3, Melissa has. So I don't know. That's a whole separate drama. I'm going to have reality with Krista come back on for the recap of Real Housewives of New Jersey next week when we get into all that. We're going to discuss Louie's finances on that. I know I said I was going to get into it on this episode, but she has like extra tea on that. So I'm going to save it for when we recap. Oh my God, I'm so tongue tied. It's because I'm going mental summer vacation. Thank God it's almost July. How many more days till school starts? I knew I was going to recap Louie's finances on this episode, but I will do it on that one because she has more insider scoop and tea on that. So I want to like do a full juicy, like deep dive in that. I didn't want to do it by myself here without all the extra tea that she has to spill on that. So we will be getting into Louie's finances and all that shady business, on the recap when I bring her on next Tuesday. But Ariana Madix is looking hot on Love Island. So I do not watch Love Island. I should, because I did say I have like, I feel like I need time or I have the time to watch like extra shows because all I'm really watching is Jersey right now. But I don't want to get into other shows because then when my new shows start, I'm like, no. I can't get into something new. I need to leave time for the Bravo shows. But all her looks are hot on Love Island. I'm wondering if Lala is tuning into it or Sheena. Sheena did write something under her thing. She wrote like some fire emojis. So even if Sheena is like faking it, but I really don't think so because she does like Ariana, at least she's being supportive to her. Even if it is just on the internet, it at least looks like she's being supportive. Lala doesn't write anything because Lala is just so jealous. Seeing the things on the internet and everyone calling her Lauren from Utah cracks me up. Because if we didn't think she was jealous, she also lives in another universe and dimension. She posted a picture of the back of like a Maybach and she put, "This water retention at my pregnancy is real. Had to get a driver so I could have my feet up and pick a car that I could have my feet up." Because if some of you don't know, in the back of a Maybach, very luxurious. So it's like the crazy luxurious version of a Mercedes. So it's even more luxurious than getting like the AMG package. So the Maybach is like what Kim Kardashian has. They make a SUV and then they make like a big car. So Lala is paying a driver like she's Kim Kardashian to drive her around in a Maybach so she could put her feet up because in the back seat you can recline fully with your legs up. That is like really crazy, like just another universe. And it's like, you're not a Kardashian, you're just Lauren from Utah, as people like to say. But I just think it's so absurd and excessive that she's doing that. And that even just doubles down on me why I know she was with Randall, not for his looks at all and not for his personality. It was because she thought he had money like that, because he would flaunt around like he did. But just because people are driving around in a Maybach does not mean they own the Maybach, does not mean they can even afford the Maybach. Some people are doing it for just status quo and hoping that people recognize them or give them work or care about them. And she totally strikes me as that person. So I find it hilarious. I think the baby is due at the beginning of September and it's the end of June and you already think you can't drive your car. I was pregnant twice too. I know we all have different pregnancies, but I see her. She looks like she's walking around just fine. She's like skinny and then has just her baby bump like she did before. And I'm sure she'll poop this baby out and literally go back to her skinny mini body just like she did the first time also. But for her saying she can't even drive, it's like, maybe have your mom drive and just put like a pillow under your legs in your Range Rover that you have, which is a luxurious car. So Total, like, first world problems. Anything she does, honestly, pretty much these days will get on my nerves. I do like the cute pictures of ocean she posted, but when I saw that, I was like, bye. Bye, Lauren from Utah. Get that Maybach to bring you to Utah. I want to know how much that costs, too. It's like, you're not having the baby till the beginning of September, so you're paying this person. And she also said she never leaves her house because that's why she couldn't dine at something about her. So why don't you bring that Maybach while you have your feet propped up to go to something about her and get a damn sandwich? How about that? How about that? Because also, if I'm paying someone to drive me around in a Maybach, I want to go far away. And she acts like the Valley to West Hollywood is like far. It's like, please. And like I said, now you have a driver. You drive to Palm Springs like every weekend to go to your house. That's far. Okay, bye. All right, sorry for my rant. But in more ranting news, Brandi Glanville clapping back at Bravo, posting something about the violence on the Real Housewives of New Jersey, saying that they're like promoting it and that's okay, but what happened to her, which wasn't even violence, as she's claiming. She said like nothing that Caroline said even happened. I don't really know about that because Brandi can get a little too much. But I agree. I think all across the board, we need to have the same set of rules because we're seeing Kenya Moore on the Real Housewives of Atlanta getting fired. And she's going to sue Bravo apparently because she released, I don't watch Atlanta, but I like read online and saw posts. She apparently like filmed someone doing something inappropriate and posted it or something like that, or filmed it while she was being filmed for the show. And they're like, oh no, that's not acceptable. But it's like, what do you mean? Like, people are like throat shoving people on the Real Housewives of New Jersey, because I don't blame Danielle for her. Like, yeah, you could say she got violent with Jennifer, but it was in retaliation and self-defense. This is Jennifer's like third strike, honestly, with being violent. Number one is when she threw silverware at Melissa. Now, you could chalk that up to, that's not that violent, but still, she was throwing silverware at Melissa. Number two, she actually physically put her hands on Melissa. I don't know if that was 2 seasons ago. I don't think it was last season. And they were like at the Jersey Shore, and she literally put both her hands on her and was like charging her, and Melissa was like self-defending her, and all the guys were like getting, them separated. And then to top it off, you're double-handed pushing Danielle. Like, what do you think she's going to do? Give you a high five? Like, obviously it's going to get violent back. But speaking of Danielle, another Danielle on Summer House, she will not be returning to Summer House. So I'm going to read, I posted what she said. I'm going to read like some little blips. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But she basically said, hello, my sweet loves. I wanted to share that I've come to the heartbreaking decision to not return as a full-time cast member on the upcoming season of Summer House. Obviously, this decision didn't come without a tremendous amount of thought. Ultimately, I just need to trust my gut. If I can't put 100% of myself into filming genuinely and authentically, it really doesn't feel right doing it in a full-time capacity. The network, production, my cast, and especially all of you deserve that. Right now, I need to protect and prioritize the things that matter most to me. My company, my people, and of course, myself. So then she just like went on to say she's been so grateful for NBC Bravo, for all the filming. And then she said, however, I'm involved this summer. You can bet I'll be rooting for another incredible season for my Summer House fam. And then best of luck. So I am wondering if she was fired and Bravo doesn't really care if these people spin it as, oh, I'm leaving, because I just find it hard to believe she's leaving, because I'm not sure what she gets paid, but she's been around a long time. I know she doesn't bring much to the show, but just for being around a pretty long time, I would imagine it's decent and something you wouldn't want to pass up, because I feel like these people get brand deals or get recognition or get appearance fees just because they're on the show. So once you're not on the show, no one's paying you to appear at a restaurant, because we don't care, because you're no longer on the show. She has her app, but I think the app is not going to do well because Kim Kardashian did already make this app like a long time ago-ish. It's a little different. But I don't know. You have to upload a picture of all your clothes, which is going to take a lot of time. And then they put an outfit together for you. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't be leaving Bravo to rely on that, because I would be riding that Bravo train as long as they let me ride it. But that's why I'm thinking they dismantled her train and booted her off, and the caboose is leaving. Because I just personally think that you don't give up on stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not going to miss her. No love loss. I know they're going to be gearing up very, very soon to film. Usually they start right at July, so that puts us at next week for filming. I need to know if Carl and Lindsay will be resigning in the same house, because I just don't know how that's going to work. I guess Lindsay is not pregnant. Those were bogus rumors, I suppose. She never confirmed nor denied it. Now, I feel like we'll catch wind if she's pregnant. I don't know how we wouldn't, because she would be drinking on these episodes. I don't know. I wish Danielle was in there, because she would probably leak us secret stories, like we found out she was leaking the stories, for Craigie getting almost kicked out of Amanda and Kyle's wedding. So we need like an insider to be like a double agent and feed us back some info. I know that when she was in Italy for Andrea's wedding, there was a picture of like 2 drinks. And like I said, one could be a mocktail. We don't know. But I also feel like when you're in Europe, they're like, what's a mocktail? No, you're just going to have alcohol. We give alcohol to children over here. Like at birth, you have wine in Italy. So we don't know what a mocktail is. Your baby can sip on the alcohol. It's safe. I don't know. If she's not pregnant, we know Lindsay is going to get super activated, super drunk, and get up onto Montauk and hook up with boys. But the fact that she's not going to have Danielle as an ally in the house is also interesting. Like, I feel like she had a good last summer with the girls, but I just would have liked to probably see Lindsay and Danielle get drunk, hook up with guys for this season. And then if Danielle wanted to leave, like, whatever. Because like I said, I am not going to have any love loss. Like, I didn't mind she was there, but I'm not like crying that she's not going to be there. So I am curious how we will get Sierra and Wes this summer. I hope Sierra hooks up with like literally the hottest guy right in front of West, and he's off doing his laxative commercial that I saw on TikTok, that I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what you were worried about, committing to Sierra to, have people flood in the DMs seeing your laxative commercial? I don't think so. But other interesting news, Kelly Ben-Simone from the Real Housewives of New York back in the day, called off her wedding just 4 days before the wedding. And she claims it's because her soon-to-be husband would not sign a prenup. So I don't really understand why it was this close to the wedding that they're figuring all this out. Like, I don't understand. And she has grown adult children, so I'm also like, you could funnel it secretly into them. Give them your money if you're really concerned about that. And then if he did, God forbid, try to come after your money, you'd be like, oh, I don't have any money. It's my children's. I don't know. There's ways around it. You put it in trust. You put it in life insurance. I don't know. I find it weird, though. Like, does she think he's going to be shady and take all her money? Does he have any money? I don't know. It's like Teresa. She was pretty goofy and didn't have Louis sign a prenup. I think it's because she was so burned from the prenup that Joe Giudice made her sign, that remember they got in that argument about, which I feel like back then he didn't have that much money. So it's like kind of weird that he's like, oh, you must sign a prenup. I don't know. But, I mean, whether Louis steals money from people or not, he definitely has money as well. And he bought their house. So maybe that's why Teresa's like, I'm not going to make him sign a prenup because he's not making me sign a prenup. So it's kind of like, I don't know. You just never know. I would never be offended if someone asked me to sign that, because I would be more concerned if someone like her, she needs to call the wedding off because he won't sign it. That's like more concerning that he won't just sign it, in my opinion. I don't know super details, just reporting the headline gossips. Maybe we'll get her on a podcast of some sort, like a Jeff Lewis or the Vile Files, and they'll do a deep dive, and then I can report about it on here. But for all I know right now, she called off the wedding because he won't sign a prenup. So that's pretty unfortunate, I feel like, for all of the guests. And her, I'm sure she's sad. Because I do remember when she was on Ultimate Girls Trip, she was really happy with this guy. And when I did listen to her on Jeff Lewis, she was really happy with this guy. So that's weird. I'm sure there's some more details, like I said, that we don't know. And then speaking of Jeff Lewis, I was listening to him this week, and he had Melissa Gorga on, and they were just kind of talking about her house, because we just saw like the housewarming and everything. And she said, do you want to know something funny? Like, Joe said he would put our house for sale if anything ever went for sale on the Franklin Lake. So on the lake view. And it did. He put full price. They called him back and they said, I'm sorry, somebody actually already got to it before you. And he called the day like it went for sale because it was in their neighborhood. But their house has no view of the lake. And now I understand why they wanted to move there and knock the house down they did, and that maybe all the houses aren't the same caliber as their house, like I said last episode. But if this is like a neighborhood that's on the lake, in Franklin Lakes, like that's probably quite rare that houses even go for sale there. So wouldn't you know it, the people that bought the property that are going to be building a house are Kathy and Richie Wakili. So this is Joe Gorga's first cousin. Their mother was siblings with Joe and Teresa's dad. And Melissa and Joe basically gave Kathy, Richie, and Rosie the cold shoulder when Teresa got out of jail. She said she wanted to cut the cancer out of the cousins. And they were like, well, we're not cancer, but okay. And then they were basically off the show because if no one was going to be friends with them and talk to them, they got the boot. And sadly, Melissa and Joe were really trying to, stick by Teresa. She just got out of jail. Joe was in jail at the time. The mom died. They were going through a lot. So I don't blame Joe for wanting to side with his sister. He's probably my sister, no offense, is more important than Kathy and Rosie. They're my cousins. Love my cousins. But if this is what she wants, I'm trying to make it good with her. And I want to stick with her. So Melissa was telling Jeff that she secretly would love Joe to be walking and Kathy be walking. And they just kind of rekindle. And it goes back to how it was. Now, after that episode came back, Richie Wakili took to social media and said, get over it. We know what he was talking about. He didn't say get over it, Melissa and Joe, didn't mention them, but he said, get over it, move on. Just posted the word. So it's we know you're talking to her, but I don't know. Kathy says that Melissa totally blew her off and everything and treated her poorly on her own besides Teresa, quote unquote, they're trying to blame Teresa for doing that. But I don't really think they're blaming Teresa. They're just being honest. Teresa was the one that had the idea to cut them out. And they were okay, well, we want to mend things with you. So yeah, let's do that. And I really do believe that. I know that there's two sides to every story. There is a Teresa side, there is a Joe side, and there is a middle. But I just really do think that Joe didn't want this to happen because I posted the preview for next week's episode for Real Housewives of New Jersey. He is officiating Melissa's cousin's wedding. And he said in his confessional, it made me sad thinking that when my kids get married, my own sister's not going to be there and I'm not going to be at my niece's weddings. And it is sad, meeting Joe, he really is a down-to-earth guy. And I know we don't know these people personally, so you could say, oh, well, you really don't know the real side of them. Well, then I guess we really don't know the real side of any of these people. But I really do think that he wishes that him and Teresa were fine, and that I feel like there's always an obstacle for the two of them, whether it's Teresa saying it's Melissa's the obstacle, or he's saying it was Joe Giudice back then, and now it's maybe Louie. There's always just an obstacle for Joe and Teresa, but it's kind of like they both need to put like the stubbornness aside, both of them, or the pettiness, everything. Because if Teresa thinks she doesn't hold a grudge or she can't be petty, she can. She needs to like look in the mirror, take a little accountability, and then I think that they could all kumbaya. But if she's never going to take accountability, which I don't think she ever is, then they will never move forward. But I thought that was very interesting. Like whether Richie likes it or not, and whether he has that old Ferrari or not, he is going to be driving by Joe and Melissa's house. He's going to see those Bravo vans in the driveway, unless she gets fired, but I don't think she is. Yeah, they're going to see each other. I mean, literally, I understand at the end of the day, you need to do you and build your house where you want. But if they really don't want to see Joe and Melissa and they're not disgusted by them, are they really going to live on their street and build a house there? I don't think so. Like, you don't see them living next to Teresa. I don't know. Teresa said on Watch What Happens Live, like weeks ago when she was on, that if she had the choice to hang out with Kathy Wakili or Melissa, she would pick Kathy Wakili. But it's like, I feel like she's picking anything and anyone over Melissa, honestly. So, I don't know. I don't think Kathy wants to hang out with you, Teresa. All the shit talking you did on her. Like, remember when they were like, they post all these old, like, Housewives clips? Because it's like, we will never get those types of reunions or even seasons ever again, honestly. When Melissa was like, oh, your husband was calling me a raccoon face. She's like, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't talking about you. He was talking about Kathy. And it's like, does that make it better that it was Kathy instead? And then Melissa's like, Teresa, Kathy wasn't even there, which she wasn't. This was Christmas Eve, like season 3. And Joe Giudice was sitting there and he was literally shit-talking Melissa and she was right there. So it's like, Teresa, do you think that was helping the relationship between you and your brother? Your husband at the time doing that? She never, ever, ever took accountability for even Joe shit-talking and apologized. I would. Oh my God, I'm an only child, but I couldn't even imagine if my sister-in-law's husband was sitting there and saying I look like a raccoon, and then no one's going to like be like, that was mean. Why would you say that? It's like, maybe say it when I leave. Don't do it right in front of me where it's also being filmed and I'm going to watch it for the rest of my life on TV. These people are just crazy, but I feel like I've been posting and talking so much about Real Housewives of New Jersey because I have the lack of shows, and I'm sorry if that's getting on anyone's nerves, or if you're not a Jersey fan. We got Orange County coming soon. I'm trying to, do these gossip episodes, which I normally always do fit in, but I feel like, we'll have Summer House to sighting soon in the Hamptons. I don't know. I gotta like really dive deep in the internet and see. Speaking of Summer House, we had Craigie and Paige traveling to Italy. So they did not go to Andrea's wedding. I'm sure they were invited, and if they weren't, understandable, kind of. But if they were and just didn't go because she used to hook up with Andrea, understandable as well. But I don't think it'd be that weird. Honestly, I feel like when you're on TV, all these people, like Snooki always said on Jersey Shore, like, we were all gross, like, slobs back then. We all, like, made out with each other at one point, honestly. So it's just, like, now it's not weird for all of them to be together because they're, like, whatever. It was, like, a time to be alive on TV at the Jersey Shore, and we were all drunk and slobs, whatever. So they just all got over it, but I don't know, maybe Paige and Craigie haven't got over the Andrea thing. So they went to Italy by themselves. They did not go with him. So they went last year and they went this year. Really would have hoped for a nice little Italian proposal there. Because if you're going to do it, Craig, that would have been a time to do it. Unless they would be filming it for Summer House. That would be good too. Because as we remember, last year, when we just watched this past season, the psychic or whoever it was that came did that like crystal, and it was like, oh, if it shakes like back and forth, that's a yes. So she's like, am I getting engaged in 2024? And it shook pretty hard. So everyone was like, yay. So since they didn't do it in Italy, maybe we'll be getting a Summer House proposal, or maybe they'll be filming it for Southern Charm, like his show. I'm not sure when Southern Charm starts back up, but excited for that to start back up. And I mean, we got a lot. I will maybe do like a special recap of the Watch What Happens Live also. Maybe release it midweek as like a bonus episode because it's on Sunday night. So I could record it on Monday. I'll be recording, like I said, with Reality with Krista. We'll be recapping Sunday's episode of Real Housewives of New Jersey, and then we will be getting into the Louis finances of it all the shady McShady business that's been happening. I'm ready to get down to business with all of that. As always, this was so fun, and you could find me on Instagram at Bravo T with the Stay at Home Mom, Spotify and Apple. Till next time, see ya.